Let's
Guess
talk
we're not
about
doing that
The
together,
Boys
I
season
guess.
4.
Do we have to?
Episode 8 finale. Do we have to do the things that we agreed that we were going to talk about on the podcast?
So where do you fucking start? Like, we both said, you said this, and I agreed with you rather, that something has to give. Like, something big has to happen, right? To be honest, I thought everybody was in play last night. And here's the other thing, too. Weren't we all thinking this exact thing going into Endgame?
What? That
Somebody's gonna die.
Something big has
Somebody's gonna die.
Yeah. Something big has to happen.
Am I right?
Especially because we
Am I
know
right?
the next season is the last season. So, yeah, there's that level to it. I think that this season, and I'm not even going to address the bad faith, like, it's woke shit. I think there are some valid criticisms of this season overall, narratively.
Yeah.
There are times when it is a little bit of, like, plot armor in some instances where it's like, well, why didn't they just kill that character when they had a clear chance to do it in this moment? But we're like, well, that character still... It's like when you're playing a video game and it's like you try and kill this character, but you can't because it's essential to the story. Like, you can shoot him, but it ain't going to kill him. You know what I mean?
No. I actually don't.
Well, if you play a video game, you'd fucking get it.
You stupid fucking non-gamer.
That's a drop. Anytime you try to talk about video games, it'll be like, "Hey, you stupid fucking non-gamer."
Somebody'd hand you a PlayStation controller and you'd be like, what do I do with this? Eat it?
Press X to fucking shut up. Anyway,
Use the left joystick to get out of here.
that's how you walk out of the room. But yeah, it just feels like there are that aspects to this season. But I think overall, I enjoyed the season. I
did. I felt like the final result of last night's episode. I'm not sad that there. I thought going into last night that Starlight was going to kill Singer, that was going to be an overarching thing from this season into next. I truly did.
Yeah, I thought that was
they
the
were
whole
not going to get her.
thing,
They were not going to find out about her.
I thought they were going to pin it on Starlight for sure.
But then I started realizing. By the way, hats off to Erin Moriarty. Wow,
playing both roles like that was awesome.
The way, she really did great on that. But then you kind of, I don't know when I knew. I think probably the same time Huey knew. I guess. I didn't know that they were going to go there where somebody was going to suss her out.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to actually let Singer survive.
So that whole plot line, like, is so unsettling and depressing. And I think that Huey has been through, and I know in the comics
she gets mad at him.
I know in the comics
getting assaulted.
I know we'll get to that, but I had to talk with my wife about that because she gave me an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I'm positive that my perspective is not quite.
Oh, I know.
Well, you were the one who started talking about that from last episode, which I agreed with. About him,
he's been sexually assaulted multiple times at this point.
Yes, it's not.
And it is at times kind of played for laughs, which is again, I don't think is a problem of the show. I think it's a societal problem where it's always been that male sexual assault has been a joke. Like how many prison jokes have been in fucking movies? You know what I mean? And I think that poor dude has been through enough, and I know it's even worse in the comics. But like this, his character arc is one that I feel for him the most. I said I always preferred MM, but this season really showed such a redemptive arc to Huey, and it's unfortunate that it also came at the fact that
his dad
died. He was sexually assaulted in a fucking fucking S&M dungeon.
He got fake engaged to
a woman he loves,
a doppelganger who may or may
who
not
sexually assaulted him.
May or may not have originally been a dude. We don't know. It even stated that
I don't
doesn't remember what I looked.
Yeah, because they've always been changing. But
fuck.
The fact that she took it to that level of like, I'm going to propose to you, because we also find on this episode that she not only takes their voice and their likeness, but she also gains their memories. So she was able to, that's how she was able to keep her guys up and things like that.
That's what I thought at the end of last episode, is that, Chameleon is, not so much the last 20 or 30 years, but Chameleon was one of Spider-Man's first really good villains. He was an ex-spy, and he knew at first, I think he eventually developed like superpowers to like, change at will, but he used to be really great at Master of Disguise. But the one thing that was always inherent in the story was that he had studied his subject. And that was my thing at the end of last episode was, wait a second.
Yeah.
She just, it had to have been some sort of telepathy as well. So that explained it for me, which, I'm one of those fucking assholes pushing up my glasses. Actually, like I'm the plot hole asshole. I'm the plot hole. There is a shirt.
Plot asshole?
No, the plot hole asshole.
Why not just combine them?
No. I want to say hole twice. Don't.
I want 2 holes on this shirt.
I want to say hole twice.
I want 2 holes on my shirt, and I'm not talking about sleeves, because then that would be 3, because you forgot the head hole.
Also 4, because how are you going to put it on?
So, all right, I need 6 holes. 2 on the shirt, and then the other holes.
Head, and then I need some jammies. Honestly, I need some pajamas.
I need to go nighty-night.
Give me.
Speaking of going nighty-night, Butcher's about to kick the bucket in this episode. Okay, so what I like to do is, we'll get to his story too. I want to keep talking about Huey. I like to break these up by like character arcs.
Yeah, I guess.
And narrative arcs. And this whole, I just think, but despite all this stuff, by the end of this episode, despite everything that happened, he still wants to help Victoria, because he says, like, when my dad was trying to hit, the last lesson he taught me was, like, to fight monsters, you have to be human. You have to be empathetic. You have to show them love, or not necessarily love, but show them empathy and show them that there is another way, that violence isn't the answer. It's
about changing perspective, really. And I have to say that I have a personal connection to this, very much so, because, I've undergone like recent like mental kind of things that I've never gone through before, and like the other day my car died, and I'm out far away from where I live, and I don't know how I'm going to get home, and my first reaction at that point is always to just lose my shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's reaction in the room except for Huey's is fuck no, right? But he says to them, and rightly so, and this is something I've kind of been going through, and it's just insanity. The very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
And this is after.
And isn't this his way of saying, like, we have to try a different way?
And this is after Victoria tells him the war game. She's like, "I hit you, you hit me back.
Right.
It never ends.
It's true.
I won out." She goes, "The only way to win is to not play." And she's asking him for there's no angles. He is threatening me. He's threatening my family. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Look, when you get down to the
because at this point,
when you
Homelander had outed her publicly.
Oh yeah, that was
suit,
fucking crazy, dude.
And he, by doing how he shows it, is lasering her in the fucking face because he knows she's it won't hurt her, and she just like stands there frozen like, you motherfucker. And someone said that they thought that the look that she gave on her eyes, like when she was concerned because she couldn't pop Homelander's head. And I was like, I don't think she's actually trying to pop his head. I think she was just defending herself.
I don't know.
But
that would be crazy if that's a great thought, because I don't remember what I do remember
eyes
her
look
eyes,
like they do,
but does that mean that her power was being used because she was invincible?
But
you know what I mean?
She's so obsessed with her image that she wouldn't have done that.
But
but she knows she's
reactionary?
impervious. Though.
Sure.
She knows she's invincible. So
Has she ever been
knows-
lasered? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
They fucking threw acid on her, man.
Right, but
And nothing hurt her. She got shot in the head, you to me. Like, no, even closer. Butcher put a gun straight to her temple and shot her. So, like, the laser wasn't going to kill her. She knew that. But she didn't want to pop his head on fucking live TV.
Just saying. Like,
she's still the VP elect.
That would be a crazy... We'll never know, obviously, because she's dead now.
Whoa.
But, spoiler time. Pizza time. But that would be an interesting thing, that she was trying to pop his head and she couldn't.
Yeah. But that was just like...
she was like, oh, fuck you.
That's where I had a nice moment of like, okay, while I have been frustrated with other character arcs, I do think... And I still don't appreciate what's happened to him the last few episodes.
Who? Huey?
With Huey. But I still like where his character ends up because despite everything, he's still... And we talked about this, my wife and I, because I had the same reaction when she's upset about him having sex with the shapeshifter.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck off. He didn't know. Because he did finally figure it out, but he didn't know at least the first time.
No.
Or I don't know when he didn't not know. I don't know. But the point is, I'm like, this man, and then I was like, the man's been raped multiple times, like in a few days.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, and then Ash, my wife said, she's like, but you got to understand, she was upset in the moment because her boyfriend was sexually assaulted. Someone literally stole her identity and stole her memory, and everything. I was like, that's fair. And then they bring it back around because like in that moment of two adults having a conversation about that, they have a moment where she goes, you're going to get tested for everything. Essentially forgiving him, being like, I know that it wasn't you didn't cheat on me. I know that you didn't do that intentionally. I was just upset.
Yeah.
Because she's been through a lot of fucking shit too. And Huey and fucking Annie have been through way too much shit this season because she had that abortion thing. She had what happened to Huey happened. Huey's dad died. Her powers aren't fucking working.
The whole Starlighter thing.
Oh, I gotta say, Anthony Starr again on the phone call to Victoria. Jeez, when he threatens her, he's like, I will, you're going to be my fucking puppet, and then I will send you pieces of your daughter until you're dead. And I'm like, Jesus. It's like, that man is truly, truly unhinged. And then I love that each time he keeps having these mental breaks, or each time he kind of just goes off the deep. You notice how like the room gets more messy and broken because he's just breaking things and destroying things, and and he's crying because his own ego fucked everything up again. And it's just like, what a fucking little... He's such a good villain because he's such a little fucking baby. And I get he went through a lot of shit, but it's also like he's still a fucking bastard. Like, it's like... And Anthony Starr is just so good at playing the character. Just so
really
good.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to talk about? It's
got to be fun to play the character, to be honest.
You know what? You know what's a forgotten
I've heard
Homelander line?
Huh.
A forgotten, brilliant Homelander line.
What's that?
Did your brain get fucked by stupid? Remember that? What a fucking weird line. But
he's a producer on the show now. So him and Carl Urban both are, and I think one other person on the cast. But that happens when a show's been going on for a while, and the actor like really obviously understands the character. You're gonna be allowed to pitch ideas for your own character.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be able to pitch dialogue too and whatnot.
Somebody asked if he was gonna thought of him playing. He was at like a convention, and somebody asked him about him playing Booster Gold, and he goes, "I have no idea who Booster Gold." He goes, "Is that character blonde?" And they go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Wow, that's original." Like he's like, "Come on."
Isn't he Australian?
He's a New Zealander, I think.
Nice.
But
Those New Zealand accents,
I can tell he gets annoyed because people still can't comprehend that he's just a good actor and like he's not really like this.
Well,
like,
no,
this
he
character.
actually. I read
Homelander?
that like he dyes his hair dark and like grows a beard out because like he wants to distance. I think his natural hair is dark.
Yeah,
I think he has to bleach it for the show.
he was in a show. I think it was just called Southland. It was like a cop show. He also did that for a while. I wanted to talk about the Butcher arc because that another example of a satisfying character arc. Something that
Before, because it leads into it, can we talk about the scene between Ryan and Homelander when he's like, "Come here," and he's like, "No." Like that's fucking scary, dude. And
oh yeah, when
I
Ryan,
think at one point he thought about,
that is an order.
Yeah.
Not come talk to you. That is an order. You will do as I say.
That's when he realized that he had to go. And now, obviously, we know that he's gone, and he killed. We'll get there, but I wanted to start there because that's important to the arc of Butcher, and what happens.
Yeah.
When Ryan comes by. But yeah, he's dead. Yeah. He's talked to
Huey. It all happens
he
because
gives like the farewell
he still has a
speech
picture
to Huey.
He has a Homelander freaks out because it's a picture of Butcher.
How come he can't
Becca.
understand that it's because of like maybe a picture of his mom?
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean. What an ass!
Homelander can't understand that because he's Homelander.
Homelander's a fucking douche.
But yeah, that all gets started because he sees the picture of them as a family, and it's like also of course he's too short-sighted to understand that Ryan was raised by Butcher for a long time, so he thought he was his
Homelander,
dad.
You raped her, dude.
You raped her as well. Yeah. Keep clicking into the mic.
Stop it.
So yeah, at this point, Butcher, I love this detail. So his eyes are like bloodshot red. His skin is like sunken in. Clearly, he's like dehydrated. He's dying.
His hair is gray.
He's literally dying.
He's got gray temples, beard.
Yeah, he's falling apart. And he's in this hospital, and then that's when Ryan visits him, and then we get a reveal that it's a CIA safe house that Butcher's in. And this is where Grace and this is another thing. The reason Ryan keeps coming back to Butcher is because Butcher just lets him talk and listens to him. Because nobody's truly listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan has a moment of also being human and, having that experience of being like, I don't want to necessarily leave. I like living there because, well, it's Vought, so you have everything you could want there. Right.
Well, Grace kind of fucks it up by,
and he's a kid, and but then she
throws
oversteps
too much shit. Yeah, dude.
And Butcher keeps being like, "This isn't how." He kept trying to say, "No, it's not like that." Like, no, that's not what I'm. Butcher, at the very least, was trying to get it to being like, This is not my intention. I'm not trying to do this. She's doing that. I'm not doing that. Listen to me. I don't want this to happen.
I mean, he was aware of the situation
because I also think at this point, to me, because he has a conversation with Kessler. Where Kessler keeps saying, you deep down still want to do this because we're still talking to each other. And I think, and this could be just me reading into it, I think Butcher had already thought, like, Butcher was already going to go through with this. And he was just reassured at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think that, and the reason I say that is because he goes, if you want to be with Homelander, I'm not going to stop you. Because even I think he is at a point where he doesn't. What does it all like?
Well,
what does it all mean? What does it all matter?
He's got to
anyway?
leave something behind to help the world that he is kind of fucked up himself.
Mm-hmm.
And what is he going to try and do? He's going to try and make the second, maybe someday the most powerful person on the planet, understand humanity, but also give him the confidence to stand up to, Homelander, who's probably the first most powerful. Person on the planet. He's trying to at least impart some of his humanity to Ryan before he goes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Grace just fucking jumps up there.
Gets crazy because she's like, no, you don't understand. He's going to, like he raped your mom. Like it wasn't an affair. He raped her and like all this shit. And just gets too crazy because he's like, what the hell? And then she tries. Then
she tells him what's up.
It's where they're at the CIA thing, and she wants to keep him there. And he's like, well, you just want to keep me here against my will, no matter what. And Butcher's like, let him go. And I think before he shoves Grace and snaps her neck against the wall and leaves.
What does she say that she's going to flood the room with?
Halophane.
Is that deadly to everybody?
Yeah,
like
that's
all
what they
three of them would die, right?
That's the gas they use to subdue Soldier Boy. That's the gas they use to subdue the soups.
Right.
And and he freaks out, shoves her against the wall, and snaps
Well, it's a
her
good
neck.
thing that she didn't.
No. I'm not saying she didn't have what was coming to
her
because
she would have died
she
anyway.
Did give him no choice. And but he does have a look of like him kind of enjoying it a little bit. And then he leaves. And then Butcher like solemnly walks over to Grace, sees that her neck is snapped. And in that moment he's looking down, and then we see Kessler come into frame behind Butcher, and then Butcher looks up to Kessler, and then it's a good moment of look but don't or show but don't tell of just a nod of like acknowledgement of like, okay,
an acknowledgement.
We'll do it your way. Because I honestly think he knew that Ryan was lost anyway when he talked to him, and he had already thought,
well,
I'm gonna go through with this.
It started one way, I can't remember what, but Butcher said something, or they were talking about something. Butcher pushed back at him, kind of, and said, "This is what really happened," or whatever. What was it?
What do you mean?
They're talking while they're playing Connect 4.
Oh, yeah.
And they start talking about real shit, and he says something to Butcher, and Butcher says, like, no, it ain't like that. And Grace comes over and says something, and he's like, I can hear you.
Yeah.
And so, what did she say to him? Fuck.
Well, then she just kind of, that was about the
That's
time
when she
unloaded
starts,
all
unloaded all the
stuff.
shit, and it's like, you fucking fuck.
So we then have that moment of acknowledgement, and then we have the thing where the boys meet up with Victoria to make the deal to get her and her kid out with the whole situation, because the president's in lockdown, because at that point they had stopped the shifter from killing the president, so he went further down in the hole. Starlight got out of her chains by degloving herself.
Oh.
Disgusting. And then she just they do explain it later, because I was the same way. I was like, well, how did you know where they were? And then they explain it in the next scene. They're like, you find your phone. So she
basically saves the
Kimiko
day.
gets her neck snapped, then she saves Kimiko, and Kimiko also and Frenchie finally kiss and close that loop. Something was so again proving my point that the Frenchie Kimiko shit was stupid and pointless. Sorry, it wasn't pointless, but it's just like, what are we doing? Anyway, I mean, it was a cute moment. It was a cute scene. It was nice to see them finally have that moment together. But it's also like, is it too little too late for me? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah.
They're nice characters.
So
and now we...
So, yeah, then we find out, because Butcher just shows up. He says, "Oi!" And just walks into the scene. Immediately noticeable that he looks healthier. He looks like he normally does.
Right away, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because
I'm watching at home, because I'm just like...
Yeah, when I was watching and I noticed, that's the first thing...
Well, obviously,
that's the first thing Ashley and I noticed. We both were like, he looks better.
All of us know. All of us know...
Yeah, we know that Kessler caused him to tear
before
up.
he even shows
we don't
up,
know how.
It's a tense fucking moment. We know this. Like, fucking Frenchie's got his gun.
He's got a dart gun with the virus.
She's got the fucking secret or service guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of tension.
There's not a trust.
And then he shows up and you're like, well, shit's about to go down.
And I love that.
What happened?
And I love that. Okay, so in the comics, the boys all take V, and they're just it's I thought it was, if I remember correctly, it was like a certain kind of V that like didn't give them like superpowers in a sense of like they could have like certain abilities, but it just gave them like super strength, so they could actually fight soups.
Yeah. Without dying.
And then Butcher just ends like he has his villain turn in the comic, and I want to give some credit here before we get into this. One, I will say this about the comic because I talk shit on it a lot.
Yeah,
there are things that I do like, and one of the things that I like is that Billy Butcher becomes the villain.
Yeah.
Because Billy Butcher, you could kind of look at him as kind of like the anti-hero Frank Castle archetype.
Yep.
And it only makes sense that that guy would become this full-on genocidal maniac like Frank Castle is, especially in the Jason Aaron book. So I'll give him points for that. And I love how this show is executed that, because Butcher has always been a piece of shit. Always. He's just charismatic. He's just likable because it's Carl Urban.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, he's always been a shit. And so to finally see him go here and get here, and to go here and get here. I've been podcasting for 3 years. You think I'd be better?
We've been hosting radio shows for longer than that.
But to get to this and then have it be like almost his powers be a creepy Doc Ock, like body horror Doc Ock, because he's even got the fucking trench coat like Doc Ock.
Is that what it's like in the comics when he gets powers or whatever?
Again, they don't have specific abilities. They're just invincible and strong.
Well, 'cause I'm God Dennis, ain't I? And I hate superheroes, right?
But
is that a good?
So yeah, he shows up and we finally get to see what his powers are, and his chest just opens up, and these gross, disgusting, and it's like literally his hatred for soups personified comes out of his body in these like gross tentacles. Again, like body horror Doc Ock.
Like mud. They look like gross, like decaying,
goes up,
cancerous.
Grabs Victoria, wraps her up, kills all these other dudes with his other tentacles, spins her around, and rips her apart.
In half.
Or rips her in half, whatever. Same thing. And I was shocked. I was truly shocked. I did not expect them to kill Victoria. I thought one of the boys was going to die. I truly did.
When Butcher showed up,
I thought Frenchie was going to die. I thought Kimiko was going to die.
Again, going into that scene, I think we all went into it the same way, or at least you and I, like, you know, a lot of audience members who've seen both of them. I think we went into it like Endgame, like this is something's going to happen, right? I didn't know what, but I knew it was tense. And like I said, then Butcher shows up. I honestly thought the only one who can die here is probably Victoria.
Yeah.
Without just being a major shock to the system. Because otherwise we're talking Kimiko or Starlight, right?
Yeah.
Or Huey. It ain't going to be Huey.
Yeah.
I kind of, that was my first thought when he showed up, was that it's got to be Victoria. If they're going to kill, or if he's going to kill somebody. It happened pretty quick.
And then
I remember just being like, what the fuck?
And then the moment afterwards when it all happens and everybody's like shocked, and then Frenchie just puts the gun on me like, you took the V, and Butcher goes, I'm gonna need that gun now, Frenchie. And he just says, no, I'm not giving it to you. Points it at him, and he just stares at Butcher just stares at him. 'Cause Frenchie knows if he wants to, he'll just take the tentacles out and rip his head off or stab him in the, whatever it is, he'll kill him. He doesn't care. And so, he just gives up and gives him the gun, because even MM is like, fuck you are, man. And he's just like, again, Butcher's just like, you seen what I just fucking did. And, it's like, well, okay. And then Mother's Milk finally sees the point of, like, he's gone. Like, Butcher is full on, like, Butcher's going to do what he wants to do. He's on his mission. And at that point, they're all like, we're going to die. And I love that point when he says to help Victoria, when he says, fuck it. She's like, what do you mean fuck it? He's like, we're going to die anyway. They're going to probably fucking kill us. So it might as well.
It makes sense. I mean, you're just going to be like, what do you
have to lose?
What do you got
They're
to lose? They're
going to kill you anyway.
And that's what I was talking about earlier with, like, Huey. Like, I think his speech is truly, I related to it so much, because right now in my, life, mentally, whatever, emotionally, professionally, I'm trying different things. And it's not easy to look at things from a different perspective. But when you actually experience it, it's like, oh, holy shit. So I really related to that whole, like, let's try a different tack. We've been beating our heads against the wall. Why don't we open the door? There's a door right there. Is literally what Huey's saying.
We don't have to do this anymore.
We don't have to jump through the windows. Yeah. We got the fucking door's been open this whole time, assholes.
And then it gets all undercut because Butcher shows up and rips her in half.
Which, I'll say this, she's such a great actress.
Yeah.
And she really, really owned the role. I'm disappointed that the actress and the character are not going to be around anymore. But to me, I also think if you're like the head writer of that show, you're like, who can I kill off and still like not completely, have the audience just, rip me apart.
Taking a page from Matt Reeves, the show ends with some Nirvana. As we find out,
that was fucking cool though, dude.
Sage reveals that she was still working behind the scenes, and she has the video proof of the president saying, "You guys should have killed her when I told you to. We wouldn't be in this mess."
That worked really, really well because, like, especially when they were showing. Of course, we see the dick guy again, and he's got like a super kick-ass outfit on, like a costume. They all have costumes.
Yeah.
Starlight takes off. From Huey because he tells her to, or she's like, hey. Kimiko starts talking, and what's her name says to we don't know what she says to Frenchie, but it's presumably like, come with me, forget her, whatever. Now what do you think about
so at this point,
can you remind me again why those two kids are working for Vought again?
The Speaker of the House,
I can't remember what happened at the end of Gen
acting
V.
president. He puts in martial law.
Yeah.
So all the soups are hit squads now.
Well, then basically what we knew was going to happen is once he invokes it, Homelander's like, all right, get the fuck out of the way. You're done.
The one kid was experimented on, and he was the brother of Patrick Schwarzenegger's character.
Right.
And
yeah.
So what happened to them is basically what happened to Homelander. Remember? Like that was,
I know, but at the end of Gen V, it seemed like they were all good again. Remember? I can't remember what happened at the end of that show.
No. I can't remember either. But no, at the end of it, the one that can manipulate the blood, she blows off that one girl's arm, and then Homelander shows up because everybody's like there was crazy shit went down because the virus was out at the school,
right?
And, like their heads were popping, I think.
That's right.
And then he showed up and was like, "What kind of monster are you? What kind of animal are you?" And lasers her, and she shows up at the thing, whatever. So they're still around. I don't know how they're going to do season 2 because, tragically, one of the actors died in a motorcycle accident. The one who played, I think his name was Jordan. No, not Jordan. The one who had the dad that was...
he died?
Yeah, he had a motorcycle accident. It was sad. He was only 27. It was fucking tragic. So sorry for that detour. So I think
So we're setting up a blast of a sixth season. I think.
I think now we're I think
fifth, right?
Fifth season, and I think we are going to the full thing of comics. I think by the end of the season, Homelander's going to kill the dude who's the president right now. He's going to be the president, and Huey and Butcher are going to have to take him out. It's sad because they all got caught. So I don't know what's going to happen to them.
Who knows?
And Butcher's driving away. Still having the dart gun and the creepy Doc Ock tentacles. So, yeah. It'll be interesting. Can't wait. Can't wait for season 5. So, again, I don't know how it's supposed to work because I'm pretty sure it's Gen V season 2 and then the final season of The Boys. But, again, I don't know. As far as I know, they're still doing it, but I don't know with what happened. It's a tough thing because it's like you do have an out and just say that he was killed.
Sure.
But I don't know. Yeah. It's just awkward. And it's a bad situation because unfortunately someone tragically lost their life. But now we got to talk about overall, what would you give this season?
I'd say last season is still my favorite.
Oh yeah, season 3 was the biggest
fucking reveal.
Soldier Boy's back,
and we didn't even talk about Ashley and what the fuck ever happened to her.
Ashley runs away because they're gonna fucking kill her. So she did steal some V from Homelander and fucking shoots up. So her hair immediately falls off.
Well, okay, she's been wearing a wig for like years.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like crazy because
her head starts doing shit, and like she starts mutating.
So that's a dangling thread for the final season.
Dangling thread for you.
And then Soldier Boy. Holy fuck.
Whoa. Yeah, I think my favorite part of that end was when, the president-elect, or the president pro tem or whatever, pro tem, whatever the fuck they call it. And he's all like, I would like to invoke the and
martial
martial law. And then he starts trying to do a speech, and Homelander's like,
thank you,
the
Mr.
fuck
President.
out of the way.
Yeah.
And like, take him away.
Remember, you're my puppet. You're my toy.
And it was like, way to go, man.
Toys.
Hey, you remind me of Matt Gaetz, you stupid son of a bitch. Look what you done.
Yeah. The Acolyte.
Hey, listen, if you're going to sell your soul to the devil.
I give it.
I like the season.
I give season 4 5 love sausage dicks out of 5. Those big old schlongs. That Russian guy.
I think it was still up
him.
there. It's still up there, but the third season I think is still the best so far.
I'm excited to see Soldier Boy back.
I like to think that
season
next
5.
year is going to be the best of all of them.
Or whenever it comes out. Because usually it's like a year or two in between. Or usually like
I
2.
said that I meant the next season.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Shut up.
You dupe.
Hey.
You dupe.
Hey. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.